Good morning. Chovas is going through some of the reasons why we can sometimes see a tzaddik having a difficult time in this world, despite the fact that by the understanding, the universal understanding of the two reasons why there is a shtadlus in this world, l'choyer, it wouldn't be applicable to such a tzaddik. But still, there are some other reasons on an individual basis, on an hashgacha pratis basis, that might be relevant. So he says, "V'lif amim." Hashem meyasa oisoi kedei laharishu oivedes habayir b'simcha u'b'seiv upon him yafis. Gam kishu soivel moini v'yisurim. Because sometimes HaKadosh Baruch Hu simply wants to show that you see this tzaddik, he's not just a tzaddik because he has everything that he could possibly want. He's be'emes a tzaddik, as the Torah showed us in Eiv, where we see that Eiv, despite all the tzaras, HaKadosh Baruch Hu indeed sent these tzaras to show that despite them, he will still be a tzaddik. And that's exactly a reason kedei sheyilmadu mimenu bnei Adam. Sometimes, as we discussed in the previous recording, people find themselves in hardships and we use it as an excuse not to do mitzvahs. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends hardships to a tzaddik, and when the tzaddik goes ahead and stays a tzaddik despite the hardships, it's a lesson for all of us to say, you know what, I see that with hardships too I can be a tzaddik, and that would bring us back to do what we need to do. Another reason, says the Chovas, sometimes it's simply to show the entire world that because of rishis that's going on in the doors, sometimes the person there's a tzaddik who is suffering for that. And he says, because indeed in the world to come, these Rishonim will, if the tzaddik, everything would go well for him, they would have an excuse to say, well, he had a good life, so he was a tzaddik. We had such a hard time, so we were Rishonim. So sometimes, just because the Rishonim in his generation, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bring hardships on a tzaddik, and when the tzaddik stays a tzaddik, this in itself will prove chasidusoi from who? From Hashem Yisbarach. That in the world to come, in the Beis Din Shel Mailo, they'll be able to show to the Rishonim of his generation, look at this fellow, he was your neighbor, he also had hardships, but he was a tzaddik. And indeed, when we go and we dig in a little deeper, what is a tzaddik? A tzaddik is someone who devotes his life with Bitachon in Hashem and devotes his life to be that flag, that sign that says, be an Oved Hashem. And indeed, we know that Nisoyan could be used as defined as the word challenge, and it can also be defined as a flag, because that's a tzaddik. A tzaddik that's Oimed ben Nisoyan is a flag for the rest of his generation to show, despite the times we live in, despite the hardships, you could still and should still do Ratzon Hashem. Have a wonderful day.